Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Rabbi.
Good morning.
We are learning Mishna Nedarim, Perek Zayin, Chapter 7, Mishnah Beis, Mishnah 2. Okay, again, we're dealing with terms, and when a person uses certain words or terms for their neder, what's included, what's not included. Hanoidim in hadagan. A person makes a vow, a neder from dagan. Now, dagan is translated as grain. There's another word that we use for grain also, and that is tevua. Okay, so the question is, what lies? What in any? What lies within these words and what's excluded? Now, the Mishnah reads, "Hanoidim in hadagan." If a person makes a neder from dagan, aser b'pearl hamitzri yavesh. He is forbidden to eat dried Egyptian beans. Divrei Rabbi Meir. These are words of Rabbi Meir. The Chachamim say, "Eno oisa ela b'chameshas haminim." He is only forbidden to partake of the 5 species of grain. You know, whenever we talk about we talk about grain, typically in halacha, and we're talking about what we call the five types of grain, which are wheat, oats, spelt, rye, barley. Thank you. Okay, and again, when the Torah talks about grain, that's what Torah is referring to. When halacha talks about grain or grain products, that's where it's coming from. So the Chachamim say here too, by a vow, by neder, the meaning of the word dagan is only the 5 types of grains. So the issue here is like this. The word dagan, which again generally refers to grain, the word dagan, the root of that word is, the name comes from the piles, dagan is a pile, in which grains are stored after their harvest. Okay, that's the source of the word dagan. So according to Reb Meir, anything that is going to be stored in a pile after it's processed and everything like that, if it's stored in a pile after the harvest, that, according to Reb Meir, is when a person says the word dagan, that's included. Dagan doesn't just mean grain in the sense of what we typically refer to a grain in the Torah and halacha, but rather it means anything that is stored in a pile after the harvest. And dried Egyptian beans are included in that. That's according to Reb Meir. The Chachamim say no. The Chachamim argue and say that when a person uses the word dagan, they mean the same thing, meaning it happens to be in this case that when people use that term, they use it as the Torah uses it. And therefore, according to the Chachamim, those are the only things that will be included in this neder. Now, Rabbi Meir Roimer. Rabbi Meir says, Hanoidim min hatavua. Different word now for grain, not dagan, not the word that source has to do with piles, but just the word grain. Einoi asam l'chameshas haminim. There he agrees. The only thing you're forbidden are the 5 grains. That's what, when people say tevua, Reb Meir agrees. All they mean are the 5 grains. But again, he repeats here, but if you make a vow from piled, meaning anything that's piled, you'll be forbidden in everything. Everything doesn't mean here everything. It means if you say dagan, you mean to, according to Reb Meir, you mean to include everything that is piled when it's stored after the harvest. So that would include the Egyptian beans that he mentioned specifically. It can include other types of legumes that they do that with. But you will be permitted in the fruits of a tree or in vegetables, because those things are not stored in piles after they're harvested. And therefore, they are for sure not included in dagan. But anything that is included that is stored in a pile after harvest, no matter what it may be, even if it's not from the 5 grains, it could be Egyptian beans, it could be legumes, whatever it is, according to Reb Meir, if they are piled, they are stored in a pile after the harvest, they are included in the word dagan. But the Chachamim disagree. The Chachamim say no matter what, the halacha is that whether you say dagan, whether you say tevua, the people only mean to include the 5 grains. Have a wonderful day. A good tavach, shvua tov.
Thank you.